I just want to start this video today by asking a question. If you could only do one thing to improve, one exercise to improve your playing consistently, what would you do? That is obviously more than just playing. So I'm going to pause the video for a second. I'm going to leave a few seconds of silence so that you can think about it and leave it in the comment section if you want. Yeah, the reason why I'm making this video is because I keep seeing the same process in musicians that I really think they are, great players, and consistently for years. And even musicians, they say they don't know anything about theory, or maybe they are not, let's say, taught guitarists, or up to guitarists. There are incredible educators and very knowledgeable, and they all have this one thing in common, which is that they went through a period where and they still do, they recorded themselves and they critiqued consistently their recording. Maybe nowadays with social media, it has become more video-based. We just do that naturally. And maybe there's certain types of players that are more like studio recording or producers. They tend to do that naturally. That maybe it might work a bit for accuracy. But in general, I found that earlier on, because I always had a bit of a recording setup, even when I just started, I had a tape recorder. Then I had the first versions of Cubase in the mid-90s. Then I went on, I always recorded myself. I really enjoyed recording in general. But I found that from the first time I actually read something about it was in the Advancing Guitarist book by Nick Goodrick. If you've never used that book, just check it out. I'll overlay the cover here. It's a great book, especially if you're into jazz and more modern jazz. There's a section of it where he suggests to do an exercise. Actually, there are various exercises about recording yourself, but there's one about critique, and there's one about basically recording yourself and using certain words to critique your playing. Another example where I was very surprised to have a very creative guitarist show for an entire hour nearly how his practice routine was, and this was Wayne Krantz. This was in the early 2000s, I think. I used to live in Boston, and I just went to one of his seminars. And basically what he did before, because I think he used to live in New York, before the seminar, he went to Radio Shack, bought a very old school tape player, and during the seminar, basically just recorded himself and just played back and said, well, in this recording, I'm trying to check for this particular thing, accuracy. Am I close to the metronome? Am I playing a particular thing that I'm explaining? So basically, all he would do is just record himself and then critique that recording over time. And he said that he had hundreds of hours of him playing. And again, another thing that I just listened to recently was an interview. I might post a little screenshot and a link in the pinned comment. That was the Rick Beato Malmsteen interview, where he actually basically says that even though he was from a musical family, he learned to play in his style by copying, more classical playing, just by recording himself, and tried to be a bit quicker, a bit faster every time, and to critique if he was that playing was clean enough, or was it faster, was it slower. So I genuinely think that that's pretty much the only thing you can do to consistently monitor your improvement. And one thing, try to have a positive attitude in your criticism, like try to be constructive. What is it that I'm not doing correctly? How can I fix it? Just saying, oh, that sounded horrible, it just doesn't help you at all. It's trying to find what you can do to improve your playing. So I genuinely think that if you do that over a certain amount of time, especially if you leave a gap between the recording and the critique. Okay, let's try to give some structure to this habit, to this technique. I don't want to call it a technique or anything like that. It's just part of what you can do, because at this point, you don't really need to any theory. You don't really need to know anything. You just need to monitor certain things that you want to improve. The idea is this: record yourself for a certain amount of time, depends on how much time you have in your routine, your daily time. It can be from 5 minutes to 10 minutes. Just give it a little bit of time, obviously. Forget about that recording. So you should have, let's say, record yourself once a week or twice a week or something like that, and then at least give it a few days so you've forgotten what you've done before you listen to that again, and then critique that, and always work on just one topic. So let's say I'm going to make an example now, and my topic is how tied to the metronome I am when I play, how accurate I am with a click, how close I am to that click. In this case, it could be anything else. It could be how good my phrases are, how clean my playing is, how fast or slow I'm playing, am I more expressive or less expressive, how's my dynamics when how are my dynamics when I'm playing, and so on. So you work on one thing at a time, and just monitor that for a while until you feel that you've got to a place where you want to move to the next topic. Remember this, it's in the morning now. I tend to make these videos in the morning. You can hear it from my voice. So I've not touched the guitar this morning, so my accuracy might be not as good as when I've played for a few hours. Okay, so I have a metronome, and I'm going to just play, and I want to see how accurate I am to that click. So something like. Okay, so that was just some sort of, Motown-y kind of thing. Then I could maybe just do the same thing by playing lines. Okay, so I'm going to play the same thing. Imagine that I'm improvising over those chords. Again, not perfect, as I said. It's 10 a.m., but I'm happy with that. There was a point I felt in the second example where I fell a little bit behind the beat. It'd be interesting when I edit this video to hear how accurate I was to that. And I might put a little commentary on that. Excellent. So as always, if you feel that this video was of value, please consider sending somebody might get some value as well. That's very important, because the more you like this video, the more, first of all, you will get more similar content if you genuinely enjoy this video, and the more the video will get shared through YouTube. And at the same time, subscribe. It's again very good to support this channel in that way, and it's all free. If you want to check out the links in the description, there are some. I have some things for sale in my shop on my website, and there are some more lessons for free there as well. You can get in touch as well for a lesson if you enjoy these videos. All right, take care. Bye-bye.